Hey, this is Big Guy DIY Robert, coming to you from a very interesting view or standpoint. If you can look above me here, this video is going to be on a repair of this hatch. So I'll show a video of the hatch from inside as well as outside on this boat. So let me turn this around and show you what the repair is and tell you a little history of this. So this hatch here is a Bomar hatch, B-O-M-A-R. And what it's missing is its support arm. That would screw in here and attach to here. What had happened with the original arm is the owner of this boat didn't, latch or dog, depending on what you want to use for language here, did not latch the hatch. And so when he took off, this whole hatch flipped open, broke the hinge. I'm going to show you this closely because this part is important. In here, there would have been a hole here going through and a hinge to hold the support. That got ripped off completely. And then when the hatch flew open, the frame cracked right here in the bottom. So let me open up this hatch and show you a little closer here. So the repair I had to do is first create a new hinge for it, for the arm to be attached. And if you look at these closely, they're curved. So you just can't get a piece of metal and curve it. What I actually did is I had aluminum tubing or aluminum piping. I cut the pipe to length, then I cut the pipe in half. And the curvature of that pipe actually fits the curvature in here. This curve right here. Then this part here that spins does not go completely through. It's only attached to the top here. So drilling into here, into the base, and then using what they call 5200. 5200, I'll show you at the end of the video, is an extremely strong adhesive that's used by 3M. It's an adhesive that can be used underwater or above water. And once it hardens, you're never going to get that thing to undo. So when people who install, say, through-hull transducers, they tell you not to use 5200 because you'll never get that transducer out of the boat again for the life of the boat. Now, 3M does make a chemical that if you need to get the 5200 undone, you paint this with this chemical that 3M makes, and it breaks it down and makes it soft enough where you could remove it. So when this hatch whipped open, it broke the hatch down here. Broke this right in half, completely through. This is aluminum hatch. So what I did is I grabbed a piece of aluminum, got it folded in half, and then again used 5200 on the inside and the outside and glued this back together. Then I used Life Seal right here, black Life Seal, to glue this seal, this gasket, back in because the gasket was not fitting correctly. Now Bomar hatches, you can't replace these latches, these dogs. They're chemically bonded to the plexiglass. There's no way to remove it. I'll show you the back side. As you can see, it's smooth. So it's glued to the inside and you can't place it. So even if you were to take the cap off to get at this handle, the screw only holds this handle in. It does not go through the base of this at all. Now Bomar hatches are made with a serial number. If you look right here, that's my serial number for this hatch. So I was unaware of that when I was doing the repairs on this, and I was trying to find the support arm for this hatch. So while what I did on the internet is I did an exhausted search to try to find this arm. Because it's a round hatch, the round hatches use a very specific arm. They don't take any arm, and like 99.9% of the arms that you see online are for square hatches, which means, let's say this piece of plastic is a square hatch. It's a specific hinge, and the arm will attach on one side of the hatch and then to the top of the hatch window itself. These arms will not fit on a round hatch. It's a totally different setup, and it's a totally different hinge. As you can see how this one works. So here's the part that attaches to the latch to close the hatch, and then this part here attaches to the frame right here with machine screws. So after having very bad luck and trying to find this part, I ended up seeing the name of the hatch on there, and I called Bomar directly. And that's when client support there told me that there's a serial number on the base of the hatch. They do that for all their hatches. So this hatch is considered a 19.5-inch hatch. This arm is 16.5 inches, designed only, or not only, I should say specifically to this size hatch. The trouble is Bomar has a $100 limit. So anything under $100, you can't order it directly from Bomar. Luckily, with the serial number I gave, they still make this arm for this style hatch. So in order for me to get this arm, I had to work through a wholesaler. So we have a wholesaler in the state by the name of Defender Industries or Defender Marine down in Waterford, Connecticut. I called them up, told them the part number I needed because it was provided to me by Bomar, and then I had them call Bomar and order me this arm. It takes approximately 3 to 4+ weeks. So for me, this took a little over a month to get this part. For those who have the hatch, this part probably won't be usable to you, but let me give you a better picture here. Here is the part number right here in the top. So should you have a hatch that is 19.5 inches in diameter, this is the arm that you'll need. Now, if you do an internet search for this part, you will not find this part on the internet. I can guarantee you that. Trust me. I'm pretty savvy with the internet when I'm kind of find parts that are at a reasonable price, or even third-party parts to fix things. And this one was impossible to find. So we're gonna put this back together now. And geez, this boat sat in my yard for 2 months to try to get this one arm. So what comes with the packaging, when you get the part, this is your hardware. You get the 2 machine screws, and then you get the hinge. Or not the hinge, the pin for the hinge, which would be for this end. Well, I'm not using that because the plastic on the hatch had broke off. So this is useless to me. So I went to the hardware store and I picked up 8/32 size bolts with what we call a nylock nut, which means on the other end of the nut it has the plastic here, so the nut will not back itself off, and then 2 washers, stainless steel washers. So that's really it to put this back in. So let's put this back together. I'm not using any Loctite to hold this in. It's a screw that has the cutting head tip on it. So as you turn it in, it cuts into the metal and it'll hold itself in. So there's the new hinge. It's not as tight as the original, but it's going to hold. So let me put the nut on this side. Let's see how she holds. Frickin' bingo. So that was more of an information or informal or informative video. I don't know what the word I want now. Informative information. You get the gist of it. Of how to fix a Bomar hatch that's round, or really any other hatch, because you have TaylorMade and Bomar. Those are 2 really big companies that make hatches. So if you're trying to find a support arm for them, look to see if there's a serial number on that hatch first, and once it is, call the company directly and get the correct part number. And then once they give you the part number, do your searches on the internet, see if you can find it. Chances are you probably won't. And then order it. Find a wholesaler that's in your area that can get the part. This is Big Guy DIY Robert signing off. If this helped at all in regards to a repair that you want to do with your hatch on your boat, give me a thumbs up. If this information was helpful, give me a thumbs up and hit the subscribe button. Thank you, and safe boating.